Hello and welcome to my brand new video. I am Emma Purple and welcome to April 2026. This video is a long time coming. It's a little late. I'm not going to apologize for it because there has been a lot happening. You know, sometimes I look at my life, I'm like, okay, I know that God is doing all this with intent, with purpose, because He's the master storyteller. And as a writer myself, like, I understand that sometimes some things are for the plot, and God in His wisdom and sovereignty, He knows why certain things had to happen the way they did. And me being a human and me being fallible, I don't have to know the full picture. And there are some things that even until I leave this phase of reality, this side of eternity, I will not understand why it had to happen the way it happened. But regardless, my work as a Christian is to walk this path knowing that God is in control. I am merely a spectator and just putting Christ at the center of everything as that pivot point, as that anchor where even though like there are storms, even though things shake, I am secure and I am not losing focus of the important thing. I just want to jump into it and share an experience that I had. And most times life starts like that. So once upon a time I was just going through life, having a really regular day, having a typical Thursday, and all of a sudden there is hold up. There was traffic. It was barely 7 a.m. I was like, this is unusual. So being the content creator that I am, because I told myself that I want to create more content, I wasn't happy with the content I created in March, and I just wanted to take a few seconds video of the hold up. And I took a few seconds video of the hold up, and all of a sudden the plot thickens. Like 4 army officers gather me, they encircle me. Oh, such lovely guys. They care so much for the safety of the citizens, and they nicely asked me to give them my phone, and they proceed to smash it on the ground until it is beyond repair. Like, just isn't that just a lovely sprinkle of like excitement and adventure into your day? I know I'm being really sarcastic. This is just how I process stuff, but obviously I was devastated. I kept asking the guys, I have no business with you, I'm just shooting the hold up. If you want me to delete the video, I'll delete it. And they were just circling around me and dragging the phone out in the middle of traffic. Everyone is looking at me, and they proceed to smash this phone with this vindication, like with this urge to hurt. And I just watched as this phone was destroyed beyond repair, and I was completely helpless, and I didn't even know what to say. I didn't know what to do. I was in complete and utter shock. I went to work late and I was just crying because, like, are you seeing the economy that we are in? Are you seeing the times that we are in? To buy a new phone isn't like a simple purchase, and they just destroyed my phone just like that, and there was absolutely nothing I could do with it. To make matters worse, the very next day I get fired from work. I'm like, what's going on? What's happening with my life? I am trying to push myself beyond the discomfort. I'm trying to have a positive mindset. Did I do something to God that is causing Him to punish me? And after I finished talking about me, I realized that I was fired on a Good Friday. And even though it was tempting for me to feel as if I was the most unlucky person in the world, like, yeah, it's a minor setback, but it's not stopping me from rejoicing. And 2,000 years ago, Jesus wasn't having a fun day either. But at the end of the day, like, losing my phone and losing my job and being in a position that I did not plan to be in really shifted my perspective towards God. And towards the point of everything. That happened Good Friday. On Easter morning, I was like, yeah, I'm sad, but Jesus is alive, and so I'm going to thank him. And that was the attitude I took through Easter. I just life maxed, I just joy maxed, because one thing that is not scarce in this life is moments like this where you're just trying to mind your business and then something out of your control just comes and dumps water all over it and just destroys everything, and then you are forced to go through life and continue on with your day with those consequences of things that were not your fault. And I know all this that I've shared is pretty tame. I have the same approach towards grief as well. As I've shared before, I have my tango with grief, and even till today I am still trying to navigate through it. And many people forget that moments after it's no longer news, people whose life were really interlaced with that person has to live the rest of their life with that reality. And so how can you be joyful even regardless of pain? How can you keep your eyes on Jesus and not look at your problem when things are difficult and hard? And I don't have the answer for you today, but all I'll tell you and all that I've been doing throughout this week and with these new big changes in my life is just to keep trying and keep doing my best. And just keep looking at Jesus. I'm just going to read a Bible verse that helped me process everything I went through in March. I'm reading from 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 8 downwards. And it says, "Finally, all of you have unity of mind, sympathy, brotherly love, a tender heart, and a humble mind. Do not repay evil for evil or reviling for reviling, but on the contrary, bless. For to this you were called, that you may obtain a blessing. For whoever desires to love life and see good days, let him keep his tongue from evil and his lips from speaking deceit. Let him turn away from evil and do good. Let him seek peace and pursue it. For the eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and his ears are open to their prayer. But the face of the Lord is against those who do evil." Now, just a few thoughts about this verse. Firstly, what is my calling in all of this? To bless, to not repay evil for evil. Like, even when so many difficult things and hard things happen, it's tempting to be scheming as people have schemed against you to repay wrongdoing with wrongdoing. But it tells us that we should not repay evil for evil. We should remain in a state of righteousness and excellence. Another thing about this verse is knowing that the eyes of the Lord are on the righteous. Like, even with everything that is happening, it's tempting for me to say, "God, are you seeing all that is happening? I prayed for this job, like I wept with tears. I was in a place of desperation and I saw it as an answered prayer, but somehow, like, I just felt like I had been dealt the wrong hand in life, and how on earth am I going to go through with it?" And the answer is clear in the Bible, that the eyes of the Lord are on the righteous and his ears are open to their prayer. 13 says, "Now who is there to harm you if you are zealous for what is good? But even if you should suffer for righteousness' sake, you will be blessed. Have no fear of them, nor be troubled, but in your hearts honor Christ the Lord as holy, always being prepared to make a defense to anyone who asks you for a reason for the hope that is in you. Yet do it with gentleness and respect, having a good conscience, so that when you are slandered, those who revile your good behavior in Christ may be put to shame. For it is better to suffer for doing good, if that should be God's will, than for doing evil." I just wanted to add that this verse that I just shared is so relevant to my situation, especially regarding my job. I didn't go into detail here, but it was something really unfair. It felt like a gang up. It felt like sabotage. It felt like people were against me when I did nothing to deserve it. But instead of hating them and repaying evil for evil, God's commandment is clear that I should not repay evil for evil. As long as I am walking in his will, as long as I am obeying him, as long as I am doing good, even in the face of where others are doing evil to me, then I am 100% in line with everything that God has commanded me to do. And I've talked a lot about suffering here and how God uses it as a tool. And it seems as if the more I talk about it, the more it's my experience. But that's the way it is. It says that even if you should suffer for righteousness' sake, you will be blessed. And I read this in the context of what the writer, what Peter and what the other apostles were going through at that time. Like, they were going through real suffering, they were going through real persecution, being fired from my work. Yeah, it's difficult, but yeah, I'm going to get a good job. I'm going to get a better job. Like, I have confidence in God and I have confidence in my skills, and this is going to be a minor setback. And the fact that I know that they had to endure more difficulty, more persecution, more slander for their faith, and to apply this Bible verse to my life, it's like easy peasy lemon squeezy. I don't even need to worry about anything, because he has said that it is better to suffer for doing good, if that should be God's will, than for doing evil. And the best part, the crescendo of everything, is where it says, for Christ also suffered once for sins, the righteous for the unrighteous, that he might bring us to God, being put to death in the flesh but made alive in the spirit. Christ's suffering is something that puts everything into perspective. As I said before, yeah, I was fired on Good Friday. Yeah, just one day before, my phone was obliterated right before my eyes. But Christ suffered the ultimate suffering. Like, all my suffering was just merely for myself. It's not even helping anybody. But Christ willingly went through everything for my sake, so that I would have a relationship with him. And that brings things into perspective, and it makes me strong in the midst of the hiccups of life. And that's the hope I want to share with you today. I'm pretty sure people are going through worse days. Initially, I was struggling. It was difficult, but like, I'm good now. I'm fine now, and I'm ready to continue to try and pray and trust God to just help me do this life thing until he chooses to say, baby girl, come, let's go. But in all of it, I just want to encourage and assure you guys that Christ's suffering really brings things into perspectives, and regardless of what we are going through, we can look at it with joy. We can know that this is our calling to be good, to be righteous, because the affairs of life, it shakes, it wavers, but who God is and who we are called to be, that's something that we should remain steadfast in. So that's all for this video. If you want to know more of my writing goals for April, go and read my blog post. But on that note, I will bid you farewell. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.